we're talking about meiosis today, and before we actually get into how meiosis works, I need to give you a little bit more background on chromosomes, eukaryotic chromosomes. So there's a chromosome, kind of pretty, isn't it? So chromosomes, we've defined before, this is a molecule of DNA, and the proteins that it's wound around, they're called histone proteins. DNA is the thing that stores genetic information, the molecule that stores genetic information. So none of that's new to you. But some definitions. A chromosome can be unduplicated like this one. Or, whoops. So before cell division, each chromosome is duplicated or copied. So a duplicated chromosome is like this one. And so this is one chromosome. And this is one chromosome. But this is a duplicated chromosome, and you can see they're attached to each other right here at the centromere. So each part of a duplicated chromosome is called a chromatid, and we talked about that last time. So this, change colors here for a minute. This is a chromatid, and the other side of it, the duplicated part here, that's the other chromatid. So there are two chromatids. Oops. They are identical sister chromatids. The human body cells, each human body cell, for your regular cells anyway, have two sets of chromosomes for a total of 46 chromosomes. And you can have the chromosomes either duplicated or not. So here's pair number 1. And you can see the little extra bumps here. So this is actually a duplicated chromosome. So you have, in this case, 46 duplicated chromosomes or 23 pairs of chromosomes. And look, you can tell this one is a X and a Y chromosome, which makes this individual, the person who this cell came from, makes that a boy. Okay, so anyway, you have one set of 23 chromosomes from your dad, thanks Dad, and the other set of 23 from your mom. Thanks, Mom. That means that you have two sets of instructions for making everything in the human body. So if this codes for a big nose, maybe that will code for a little nose. My mom, let's see, had brown hair, so that maybe codes for brown hair, and maybe right here it codes for lighter brown hair, like my dad. Maybe this part codes for attached ears and that for free ears. So they come in pairs, meaning that each chromosome in a pair codes for the same sort of trait, but variations of the trait. So this one might code for really wide feet, and right here, that one might code for really narrow feet. You might get them sometimes coding for the same thing. Sometimes that happens. So this one might code for light skin, and that one might also code for light skin, for example. So this set came from Mom, from her egg. Thanks, Mom. And this set came from Dad, from his sperm. Thank you, Dad. This is one set of chromosomes. We call that, just this set right here, we call that haploid. So an egg is haploid. And this is also one set of chromosomes, and we call that haploid also. You put them together and you get diploid. Whoops. So haploid plus haploid gives you diploid. Now, I like this term because di means two, and it means you have two sets of instructions for everything. So here's an instruction booklet on how to make a whole bunch of things. Same instruction booklet, except that one came from your mom. The variation's a little bit different. I hate these terms. I wish we called them monoploid. And sometimes you do see that term, but almost never. So monoploid, I think, is a way better name because it means one as opposed to half. So haploid is half of diploid, but it's not half of monoploid, if you get that. So anyway, you got to just memorize haploid is one set of chromosomes, unfortunately. So haploid means one set of chromosomes. See, if you counted them out, there'd just be 23. Whereas diploid means two sets of chromosomes. And if you count them out, there's 23 pairs, or 46 altogether. So an egg is haploid, and sperm are haploid too. And a kid is diploid. So this kid has 46 chromosomes in each cell, and this sperm has 23, and that egg has 23, at least before it's fertilized. Fun facts. Egg and sperm cells are called gametes. When a sperm fertilizes an egg, once it's fertilized, it's called a zygote. So I'll have a movie on fertilization. I might have to play that one again, huh? Well, you see that only one got in, so you've got the 23 chromosomes from this, the 23 chromosomes from the egg, now 46. We can watch it one more time. Whoa, one made it in. Sometimes we use numbers to represent haploid and diploid. So, haploid is one set, or n. So n represents one set. In this case, 1n equals 23 chromosomes. But we call chromosomes, we call all of these all together just one set. So n means set. We have one set, or it's haploid. So how many sets do you have here? You have 2. So diploid is 2 sets, or 2n. So this is 1n, this is 2n. When an egg and a sperm come together, the zygote has how many n's altogether? 2 sets of chromosomes. The 2 sets of chromosomes match. The genes on the members of each set match in that they contain instructions for controlling the same characteristics. So again, if this codes for, I don't know, a big hand, this one might code for a narrow hand or whatever. So right there on that chromosome, that might code for little ears. That was my mom. And this one might code for big ears. Thanks, Dad. So they code for the, you see what I have. Anyway, these two code for the same kind of traits, the size of your ears, but they vary a little bit. So that one's little ears and that one's big ears. Another part of the chromosome will code for something totally different, maybe eyes. So my mom had blue eyes, and let's say my dad had brown eyes. That would code for blue, and that would code for brown. Not true in my case, but it's all right. So the genes on each pair of chromosomes code for variations of the same traits. The variations are called, new definition here, they are called alleles. So that's an important term to get down. It's important now, and it's going to be important when we do genetics. So this is the blue eye allele, and this is the brown eyed allele. This is the little ear allele, and that's the big ear allele. So an allele is a variation of a gene. You might want to get a better definition here. A variation of a gene. So a gene is a piece of DNA that codes for a trait like eye color. Oh, look, it's written here. Excuse me. An allele is a variation of that trait, whether it's blue or brown. In this case, there's an allele for blue eyes and an allele for brown eyes, and both of the variations, both are variations for the gene for eye color. So a couple more definitions. Chromosome pairs are called, some new definitions here, homologous chromosomes. Remember, homo means same, and so these chromosomes are sort of the same, at least they come in pairs. So what's the difference between homologous chromosomes and sister chromatids? Do you think you know? Homologous chromosomes are pairs. You got one from dad and one from mom. So they're the same size and they code for the same sorts of traits, but they are absolutely not identical. So again, if that codes for big ears, that codes for little ears, and if that codes for blue eyes, that might code for brown eyes. So they're the same sort of chromosomes, same sort of instructions, but they vary a little bit. Sister chromatids are part of a duplicated chromosome. So this chromosome came from mom and it got duplicated, and there it is. So this should be an exact copy of that, at least until meiosis 2, which blah, 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 I'll get to that. But what I want you to think of now is the chromatids are part of a duplicated chromosome. They are identical, at least until something special happens later. So these are duplicated homologous chromosomes. And these are sister chromatids, and those are sister chromatids too. So let's make sure you get all this. Use the oh, you know what? I'm gonna do this in class. It's hard to use beads to show me this stuff. Okay, happy studying.